everybody, Ellie here for WhoCulture, and we have some more news for you. You all thought that we'd have this dry spell and we wouldn't have things to talk about, but we do have some things to talk about. As with the last video, there will be some timestamps in this video so you can jump around the various tidbits. But before I get into the main bulk of what this video is going to be about, I do have another thing that I want to talk about first. And this revolves around the upcoming spin-off, The War Between the Land and the Sea, because folks, the BBC have done it to me again. They've done it to me again. If you recall, in the previous video, I said, well, The War Between the Land and the Sea was in the autumn highlights for the BBC, so we'll be seeing it in autumn 2025 at some point. Well, at Edinburgh TV Festival yesterday afternoon, the BBC confirmed that The War Between the Land and the Sea will be coming in 2026, not 2025, so. As per usual, I say something and the BBC prove me wrong. Now, to be honest with you, when it came up in the 2025 autumn slate, I was a bit surprised because I think we all expected it to probably come in 2026. So this isn't exactly a surprise. I think this is what we thought was going to happen. But I do still have my theory because I've always thought, I think this maybe will fill the Christmas slot this year. Technically, if it's at Christmas, it's not 2026. But hear me out here. Technically, they can still fill that Christmas slot if they did it for New Year. We've had precedent of episodes coming out on New Year's Day, New Year's Eve instead of Christmas Day. So if they do it how I think they're going to do it and release all 5 episodes one day after the other as opposed to weekly, technically if they did it on New Year's Day 2026, I mean it technically still counts as a holiday special, but it's in 2026 and then could fill that New Year's gap. Or it'll come out in spring or summer or autumn next year, who knows? We honestly don't know when it's going to come out, but that's my theory, that it's still going to fill that seasonal spot, but it will be New Year and just 2026, maybe. To be honest with you, maybe they don't know. I think a lot of this all depends on the ongoing conversations that are happening. And perhaps originally the plan was to put it out in autumn this year, but maybe discussions are happening about the main show that mean they're going to push it, which is highly likely. We've also had some plot details revealed recently as well, because star Russell Tovey commented on The War Between the Land and the Sea earlier this week, and this is what he had to say. It's set in our world. Climate change is a huge factor. Again, it needs to be factored more into art so we really get an understanding of it. It's this narrative of this guy who basically he's someone who works in the offices and books people's taxis, but by some series of events, he ends up becoming a very important figure in the world. And in true Doctor Who fashion, he's saving the planet. I'm really proud of it and I'm terrified of it and excited by it, all of those things. But working on it was brilliant and the scripts were fab. That sounds like such a Doctor Who concept, doesn't it? Somebody who's not important becoming important. I mean, literally Donna, Martha, Rose. It's a thing in Doctor Who. An ordinary person. When I say not important, I mean an ordinary person who becomes so important. There's that whole line of I've never met anybody who isn't important. Like, I feel like that's such a good concept that Doctor Who does very, very well. I'm just glad we're getting a bit more information about it. I spoke about my thoughts on The War Between the Land and the Sea in our previous video. I'm very excited about it, more so than I was originally. I think the trailer we saw has definitely piqued my interest. I also am drawn to the fact that I think it's going to be more mature than the main show has been in terms of the topics and the subject matter. So I am intrigued. I'm excited to see where it's going to be, and God knows when we're going to see it, but apparently 2026. But the main thing I want to talk to you about today is the fact that the BBC has finally issued some sort of firm statement about Doctor Who's future. Now, this came straight from the horse's mouth, as it were, from Kate Phillips, who is the Chief Content Officer at the BBC. And she was also at Edinburgh TV Festival yesterday afternoon. And this is what she had to say. Any Whovians out there, rest assured, Doctor Who is going nowhere. Disney has been a great partnership and it continues with The War Between the Land and the Sea next year. But going forward, with or without Disney, Doctor Who will still be on the BBC. So just to get this out of the way right at the beginning here, because there are some people saying that, again, this is a clever word play and that she's referring to the brand and the back catalogue of Doctor Who as opposed to the future of Doctor Who. But Why would she need to reiterate that? Of course, Doctor Who is going to stay on BBC. Like, the brand of Doctor Who isn't going to leave the BBC, but I don't think that's what she's saying here. She's not saying the back catalogue's suddenly going to disappear off of the BBC. Also, I can hear a lot of people saying, this isn't news, this is not news. This is news. This is the most definitive thing that the BBC have said on this topic in quite some time. And honestly, we should know because we're the ones covering all of this news. We are monitoring this all of the time. But I can agree, it doesn't feel like news in the sense that, well, yeah, this is literally what we've all been saying the entire time. Now we have confirmation of it, which is news because we hadn't had that previously, but it's not news in the fact that we all kind of figured that out already. And obviously this is just confirming what we already had speculated, that, you know, the BBC does not want to let go of Doctor Who. Yes, it might go on a break for a year or two, but they were never going to get rid of Doctor Who, the brand, ever. It's one of their best brands that they have on the BBC. I mean, let's look at some of the statistics here. In 2023, Doctor Who is one of the top British TV exports, contributing to a 13% increase in UK distributor revenues from the US. 2024, the BBC names Doctor Who one of its key brands for the future alongside Bluey, and that was in an official audit. Also in 2024, Stephen Moffat explained why Doctor Who is so valuable to the BBC. That's a hard word to say, valuable. This is what he had to say, quote, "Everyone talks about ratings as if they matter. I was in a position to know how much money that show generated. That's the number you want to look at. And that's why Doctor Who still gets made. It's a massive show and it's never not culturally important." Exactly, right? There is more to Doctor Who than just the ratings. There is more things to consider in terms of the brand as a wider thing. We talk about the merch, the toys. You know, that is a big thing for the BBC as well. Doctor Who is so important for so many reasons, based on the stories it tells, based on so many things. And it's not just about the ratings. Especially now, in this time of streaming and all these things, money is a very big factor as well. There is so many things to consider. Doctor Who is a gold mine for the BBC, so they are not going to want to get rid of it. But I feel like I'm kind of just repeating myself here because, as I say, this is what we've been saying the whole time without confirmation, but it's nice now to have that confirmation. The question now is, when will we hear more information about its return? Will it be after the war between the land and the sea airs? Will it be before then? And the big question on everyone's lips at the moment is, will it be with Disney or will it be with somebody else, or will it not be with a partner at all? Now, what's quite interesting is that this statement says with or without Disney. Would they really say that if negotiations with Disney were still happening? It feels like an odd statement to make if they were still in the midst of making plans with Disney. This to me seems like that decision has been made. Whether it's with or without, we don't know, but it seems to me like those negotiations have been sorted at this point and they're just holding back on commenting. If you want my 2 cents on the situation, that says to me they're now looking for somebody else. But why would you say with or without Disney if those negotiations were still happening? It just feels like a weird thing to say. But again, this is a question that we've been asking many, many times. Everyone wants to know, where is it going to end up? We do have a video out on the channel, The Future of Doctor Who, where we break down all the various streamers and the likelihood of those being the choices that are made, and why we think they would be a good fit or not. So do go and check that out. I don't want to just repeat myself by talking about all the various streaming options again. But it is obviously a conversation that we have had on the channel, many fans are having. We are getting this news, but it's kind of news but not news. As I say, this is news because it's confirmation, but it's not really telling us anything we didn't already know. And we're still waiting for that. As I say, for me, with or without Disney suggests to me that conversation is over now. Seems like a weird thing to say if they hadn't finished those negotiations, but I don't know, I'm not in the room, so who knows what's happening. I do have one more quick thing to comment on about this. Now, it's likely nothing, but when Deadline covered this news, they stated, Season 15 ended on an ambiguous note as Gatwa regenerated into Billie Piper's Rose Tyler. Rose Tyler? Now, this is probably just an editorial thing. They've just said that because that's who they know Billie Piper to have played. But there is a tiny, tiny, tiny slim chance that Deadline seems to know something that nobody else does. And have they just confirmed or leaked that Billie Piper is actually playing Rose Tyler as opposed to the Doctor or any other version that we're not sure yet. I doubt it. I think this is probably just whoever wrote the article knew that Billie Piper played Rose Tyler and that's what they've said. But could you imagine if this is how we found out, if someone had accidentally leaked some very vital information? I honestly still think that at this point they don't know. I still don't think they have an idea what they're doing with Billie Piper, but, you know, hopefully we'll find out one day. So yeah, basically there is a lot of questions still up in the air, but it's nice to have some confirmation. It's a little unsettling not knowing what the future of the show is at the moment, what the plan is for at least the next couple of years. I do actually have a video coming very soon with my pitch for what the show should look like over the next couple of years, what decisions I would make in terms of Billie Piper, in terms of showrunners, in terms of stories. So keep your eyes peeled for that. It should be a fun watch. Let me know your thoughts on this situation in the comments down below. In the meantime, I've been Ellie for WhoCulture, and in the words of Riversong herself, goodbye, sweeties.